Honestly, like in CIS, I see Ember Spirit be played mid lane, safe lane almost 50-50. So it may just depend on who the matchup is going to be, which at this point, I'm sure they know that it's going to be a Queen of Pain mid. So it just comes down to, do you prefer the Ember Spirit going up against the Queen of Pain, or do you think you will maybe able to have a better last pick to go up against that co-op?
I've also actually seen the Ember pick up the 4 position. Obviously, they've got the Keeper of the Light and the Rubik already, but it's surprising how versatile this hero has proven to be.
And like always first phase also. Like throughout ESL LA, the BTS Pro series, and even the first couple of days of this Pushka League, Ember Spirit is like topping the charts of most picked heroes. So he's not good enough to be first phase banned, but he's almost always good enough to be first phase picked because he has so much flexibility. He has basically like no set build, so you can go physical, you can go magical, you can be split push oriented, you can be team fight oriented. And he plays well with a lot of other popular heroes, like Keeper of the Light kind of almost implies that it'll be a safe lane Ember just because the Coddle Ember lane is just so terrifying to go up against. But yeah, the hero also didn't even get hit that hard by the talent nerfs because he's one of the heroes that has the kind of charge-based talent with the Sleight of Fists at 25, and so that didn't get affected by the 20% nerf across the board. And most of the other like meta changes didn't really affect him too significantly either, like how gold was distributed or how net worth was distributed or kill streaks and stuff like that. So he'll just consistently remain good until he gets some actual nerfs on his spells.
Viking end up going to the Beastmaster, while Team Family, they pick up the Treant Protector, and Treant Protector was in that final game between Navi and Virtus.pro. It didn't do that well, but it's definitely a pick I'm seeing more and more of when I feel like Treant was like straight out of the meta for so long.
Yeah, and one that's kind of better against a Beastmaster than it used to be, because it used to be that Living Armor would be taken off by a number of instances, and Beastmaster with his Boars and Dominator creep and Necrobook would oftentimes just burn right through it. Now he's quite a bit better against Beastmaster by providing armor against all these units that kind of don't have very high damage. I don't really know what the Beastmaster's role is, because it's not like they have a pushing lineup on Viking quite yet. It may just be a comfort thing. Or it may just be because they don't know who's the safe laner for Family quite yet, and so they're just like, Beastmaster's a consistent offlaner. We don't need to worry about, you know, any specific matchups, so you can just send him into anything and he'll be fine. And at least in the laning phase, he doesn't have to be too concerned about Treant Protector, because you get just like 1 point in axes, you mow down all the trees in your lane, and all of a sudden Treant Protector is just a very, very slow moving melee support.
They finish it off with the Riki, another hero that's really lined up towards the top of popularity, and that should put Riki in the safe lane Ember mid, which will end up being the matchups there, and Team Family've got the last pick for their potential safe laner.
Yeah, Riki doesn't necessarily benefit as much from the mana from Coddle, but the cooldown reduction is still pretty valuable for Tricks of the Trade, so most of Riki's stuff costs like 50 mana, so I don't know how aggressive he'll be able to play, because we still don't know where this Void Spirit is. It's probably offlane, but Void Spirit's pretty difficult for Riki to deal with, just because the Resonant Pulse providing the physical damage reduction makes it so that Riki can't really just go aggressive on him.
We'll see what Team Family finishes off with. It was a Meepo last ban, and I think Meepo got like picked twice or 3 times today in Division 1, which I feel like Meepo's one of those heroes that's like a once a day kind of thing, let alone maybe twice a day. But
geez. Well, that was one of the biggest concerns that everyone had with like the new banning structure, is that you have to front load so many bans that once the draft starts settling out, then there's more potential for the cheese, I suppose, which at this point Meepo is just viable. I don't think there's any like situation in which he's like, oh my god, we totally didn't plan for a Meepo. It's like, you know, if I think I can win this mid lane pretty confidently, then we should be able to end the game fairly quickly, and Meepo's probably the fastest accelerating core that we can go for. But Family will wrap it up with a Bloodseeker, just overall very irritating hero for Riki to have to deal with, not really able to play as hit and run as he likes to, and provide some wave clear as well, which I think Family were kind of lacking. especially against a Beastmaster, which, again, not 100% sure what the Beastmaster does in this lineup. There's no, requirement to have a BKB piercing disable. They don't have a strong push necessarily. They don't really need good vision. I think it's mainly just because they want the lane against the Treant Protector.
So they finished out with that Bloodseeker. For Viking GG, though, it's Ricky, Beastmaster, Rubik, Ember, Coddle, and then for Team Family, Bloodseeker, Treant Protector, Queen of Pain, Void Spirit, which will in fact be in that offlane, and then the Shadow Demon to round it out in the 4. So thoughts overall here? Any definitive picks? I know that's gotten the panel of Division 1 in a lot of trouble as being very, this team's going to win. But
the cores on Viking GG are definitely more popular and more reliable. I've seen Queen of Pain fall off quite dramatically at times. She's way more snowbally than I thought she used to be. It used to be she was pretty consistent, and whether you did well in the mid lane or not, more often than not, you would just kind of go even at the worst. But now she's seeming like way more vulnerable. People are way more willing to gank Queen of Pains early on in the mid lane. If she misses like a first couple of ganks with Sonic Wave, she kind of falls off. So based off of the picks, just based off of the statistical or rather anecdotal evidence I've seen, I'm kind of leaning Viking GG right now.
Your name.
And one of the things I like doing when I ask, I can't actually move my camera. There are we? No, wait. Yeah, I'm like locked into position.
What about on the minimap? Can you track her on the minimap?
I actually can't move.
Interesting.
Did we click
I'm
the
good.
camera? You're good? All right, let me reconnect real quick.
Okay.
I'm having. This is
It's cool. I'll go through the lineups in the meanwhile. Celery on the Coddle. Oh wait, are you back? Then I don't have to.
No. Go for it.
Boom on the Ember Spirit. Shad on the Ricky. Toby on the Beastmaster, and Aramis on the Rubik, and on Dire we got Mio on the Queen of Pain, Niqua on the Shadow Demon, Crystalis on the Bloodseeker, Master Risk on the Treant Protector, and Rajix on the Void Spirit.
All right, are we? Oh, no, it locked me into that position again. I loaded in, and I have like a mouse on the top right that isn't my mouse.
Strange. I don't know if anyone was in our slot. I don't think so.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that. Do I just... Oh, wait. Somebody's moving their mouse.
I'm pretty sure it's not me because I'm like doing stuff around the map. Unless if you're looking at Shad right now. Are you looking at Shad with the Ricky right now?
No.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm gonna... No, wait. Okay, wait. My camera's moving now on its own.
Maybe we have an observer. Maybe. They're spoiling us on Division 2 today.
I'm going to put my hands in the air. I'll follow this up. Sure. I have no idea how that has happened, but...
According to my minimap, you're looking at the mid lane right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, now I'm looking top.
You were not top lane? Okay, yeah. I have no idea what's going on, but enjoy it, because I'm not doing that.
Oh, life just got so much easier. I did not know we had an observer. This is perfect. I'm going to send a message out, just make sure they know that. Not very
well,
odd.
as we look at the lands, you briefly... Okay, I'll try to cast off of what you're casting. You look at the mid lane right now. It's going to be the Queen of Pain versus the Ember Spirit. Overall, pretty break-even lane. It's more mechanically oriented than anything else. Both heroes have the potential to kill each other, so could see first what happened there. You're still looking at mid, but I'll tell you about bot as well. Ricky and the Coddle, as suspected, going up against the Void Spirit and the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon in a 4 position that's definitely been on the come up, but typically with stun setups, so we'll see like disruption into Centaur Hoof Stomp, or I don't know, sometimes even like a Slardar. With the Void Spirit, it's a bit not as easy to execute. Yeah, you can get the Aether Remnant, and it kind of counts, but not as traditional as usual, as they actually will start going onto Celery, but Shad will tank the Remnant.
So, with the matchup over mid, are either of these heroes dependent on that 4-minute rune? Like, I saw it in I think the Game 3 of the Navi VP series, where they missed out on the 4-minute rune with a bottle. and it was just like that lane fell apart very quickly afterwards. Are either of these heroes looking to set up and, you know, potentially just have rune control where maybe the other side's looking to mess that up?
It depends more on the bottle timing itself. It used to be the first couple of runes would be very dependent on like, oh, I got a lucky DD or illusion or regen rune. These days, with it being at 4 minutes now, it's more kind of like, oh, okay, I got my bottle, I used all 3 charges, now I can spend a little bit less on regen. So it's not as dramatic as it once was, but it definitely still has an impact.
Aether Remnant coming in on a Solari, but he'll use that blinding light to make sure he stays safe. A lot of aggression coming in from Team Family, but they're yet to find a kill just yet. I am moving from all lanes right now.
I mean, you're the driver. I will follow you wherever this man takes you.
I don't know. Would I be the driver in that situation? I feel like I'm the hostage.
Yeah, no, you're in the back seat right now. This is an Uber driver gone crazy.
You guys missed your exit, please.
As long as he doesn't miss first blood, then he gets 5 stars.
Yeah, that's fine. So we'll take a look back over bottom. Rajix and Nikwa here, as Nikwa takes a lot of damage. Tricks of the Trade comes through, and Rajix, I feel like he thought about going in on Shad, but doesn't exactly have a lot of health to work with, and finally does get a chance to pop that salve. Jeez. Oof. And then back over mid, and then back over bottom. I'm not certain if they can hear me either. We're in a private Discord call. Has the game and the Discord call been compromised? As Rajik tries to get a catch here onto the Coddle. Solari on the run. Shadow Poison thrown from Nikwa. And with the Resonant Pulse and the Shadow Poison damage, they're able to get the kill. Rajix, though, maybe a return kill for the Ricky, but able to salve, and Blink Strike stops it immediately. Oh, Rajix! Into the trees, back out for a second. Aether Remnant doesn't hit. Now Shad's kind of out in no man's land.
7 seconds for a Blink Strike charge, and yes, as Phobos does point out, he is giving Thirst. I mean, he's not Invis, so it's not necessarily Thirst Vision, but that was a neck-and-neck exchange, but First Blood still manages to go the way of Nikwa, and it looks like Void Spirit's just going to walk back to base. I mean, this was the idea for this lane, is disruption into just aggressive setups. I still definitely see significant weakness compared to traditional stuns, because Ricky has been very frequently just walking into the Aether Remnant and tanking it to make sure that the Coddle would not get into it, but it's still pretty cute, and they can kind of dive fairly deep, as we're seeing the Resonant Pulse just be what Centaurs Retaliate more often is just a way to tank through creep aggro.
There was a disruption bottom, but back top, back bottom. Back top, as the 5-minute bounty runes are 2 apiece. And should be just about at the catapult wave, so we'll see if any rotations come out towards mid, but it looks like each side so far is staying stationary in their lanes.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Toby did not opt for a single point in Axes, and may actually end up getting the kill on Master Risk in the top lane, although that Blood Right, oof. They do get the kill.
Was not there just yet, but Aramis ends up getting the kill there onto Master Risk, evening it up at 1. And they got themselves a little bit of a net worth lead. You've got the Queen of Pain, though, over mid. Couple last hits ahead, but look at the deny situation. Queen of Pain at 10 denies, while Ember just at 1. This is, at least for the Queen of Pain, a bit of an XP lead. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, once upon a time it would also been a bit of a gold lead, but not anymore. It's a brave new patch, so... I was actually curious to see how that would affect the mid lane, because oftentimes like those extra denies can make the difference in another salve, getting your bottle just like a few seconds earlier, which can oftentimes make a big difference. So overall, it seems like experience is relatively even, and Boom is not really that far behind the Queen of Pain, despite the pretty dramatic difference in denies.
Yeah, keep it up in CS overall. The denies, though, different story. He's about to hit that level 7, so is the Ember. They've got Rajix, well, not in too much trouble. Definitely eating a lot of that damage with the Resonant Pulse.
And Shad's doing quite well. He will definitely have an opportunity to start bullying the Bloodseeker. So far, the Bloodseeker is doing fine, but he will most likely revert into the jungle fairly soon. As
Master Risk in trouble
again.
And they've got the telekinesis out, but the silence comes out on 2. Crystallis was maybe thinking about turning this around, but no help from the Trine other than a Nature's Grass thrown down, and really not much he could do. The chase would have been pretty difficult to make happen.
Wow, and Master Risk actually opting to max out his, Ricky in the bot lane. Wait for it. Never mind. Your boy's not missing anything. I am surprised to see Master Risk actually maxing out the Leech Seed. He has 1 point in Grasp, 2 in Leech Seed, 1 in Living Armor, and that's like the least common build that I've seen on Stream Protectors. More often than not, I'll see maxed out Grasp. If you think that you're going to get aggressive with your teammates in the laning phase, obviously maxed out Armor. Very rarely do I see maxed out Leech Seed, but that did end up saving him.
Ooh, taking a look over mid, the Rubik is starting to rotate, but then boom, Remnants towards the bottom rune area. A little Sleight of Fist come through on a Mio as Aramis will secure the rune for Boom.
Yeah, but Boom's got no points in Chain, so I don't really expect him to be able to do anything. Even if Rubik were to come and telekinesis the Queen of Pain, she was going to get out of anything anyway.
Do you think, is that the build that you'd go for as an Ember? Because I see a lot of different builds coming out from Ember Spirits, from, Searing Chains and Sleight of Fist, or like 1 Sleight of Fist, 1 Searing Chains, full into the Flame Guard. Do you think the value point is necessary for an Ember early? Or is it just not worth it in this matchup?
In this matchup, not necessarily, unless if he had a teammate who was pretty good at rotating. Oh, wow, he's trying to go aggressive on Mio.
Yeah, he's under the tier 2 tower, and Sleight comes through. I'm going to guess, because I didn't see it, but Mio ends up getting the kill.
Sleight coming through. And a DD rune as well on top of Boom, pretty much secured that. Yeah, so in this specific matchup, if he had a 4 position who could rotate, who had like a really reliable stun, or like a shaman who could get a long disable to buy time for the chains, then you probably would get a value point. But in this situation, you kind of need the maxed out Flame Guard and Sleight of Fist just to be able to stay as far away from the Queen of Pain and be able to get creeps without having to get into like her Shadow Strike range. And at this point, he's level 9. He takes a value point in it now and may kind of go aggressive on Mio, but the DD rune times out, so he's just going to leave it.
Oof, Master Risk also getting low. Crystal is now level 6, but he used that Rupture a little while back. He'll be hit with Primal Roar. They've also rotated Boom up towards top. Searing Chains comes in as well as the Sleight of Fist. He'll throw down the Silence, but it's not enough to save his life. Crystallis falls to Boom. And despite the Silence attempt to try and get out, there's no escape for this Bloodseeker. And you can see Viking already up, 2,000 net worth, 10 minutes in. They've found quite the stride to start this game off.
And their outpost timing is on point. Take both of them just mere seconds before the 10-minute mark, and so both outposts going the way of Radiant. Very, very systematic approach.
And that is such a big deal, too, taking both those outposts. Boom getting chased by Mio. Not really certain how much damage he has to give onto this Ember, but it's certainly not much. And good Aether Remnant onto the Ricky, who is locked down as he's been ruptured. And Crystallis finds a kill over bottom, taking out Shad.
Yeah, first carry rotation. I was kind of anticipating the Ricky to do the first rotation, but seeing as how the Beastmaster was able to get that Roar kill solo, he didn't really need the Ricky's help. Ricky was just like, alright, I'm just going to stay parked in the spot lane. And now they're starting to push bot, and Celery has 0 points in Illuminate. So he's pretty screwed here. He's just going to TP out, and he's going to get out.
So they'll have 3 heroes over bottom for the side of Team Family pushing, while not really the same from Viking up top. Beastmaster just trying to farm up this neutral camp, as well as Aramis getting some farm in lane. He's sitting level 7 right now, and what's the experience difference between these teams? Not a terrible amount in favor of Viking GG, as it seems like both the Shadow Demon's under level 6. But so is the Coddle. They're about even. Primal Roar comes in onto Master Risk. Aramis is here with the telekinesis, throws him up, slams him down onto the Queen of Pain. Nico also makes a rotation to try and stop this Rubik from TPing out, but just does not get the disruption off.
And now Shad's in the neighborhood. It doesn't have any points in the smoke screen, so he wouldn't really be able to stop the Queen of Pain from blinking, but the Ember Spirit comes in.
They've got the Will-O-Wisp placed down, and they're looking with the tricks of the trade on Aniqua, as well as the Queen of Pain, Mio, who falls. They'll dust up Shad, but I mean, it's a dust really for nothing. Nobody's rotating for the side of Team Family. They'll end up losing Niqua's life, and it's 6-2 in favor of Viking GG.
I can't believe Celery also made his way all the way up to the top lane. Like, the Ember Spirit, I definitely... It makes sense once he sees the Queen of Pain rotating, but the Coddle making a long journey, and it pays dividends as they're able to successfully kill off the Queen of Pain and that Shadow Demon, and will most likely be able to finish off this top tier 1 tower, unless if... Well, Queen of Pain's TP is on cooldown, so yeah, they're almost certainly... Well, actually, Master Risk comes back up top. He really does not want to let this go. With 3 points in living armor, he is going to fight for all of these towers tooth and nail.
Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains out on a Rajix. The Void Spirit trying to run away from Boom, but another Sleight is there for Boom to get the kill.
How was he down on both of his Astral Step charges? That's strange. He may have just been using them to farm, because that's something you really should not be doing against a team like this. So Ricky and a Ember Spirit, like, if you are able to survive the initial burst with the first chains or the initial smoke screen, then you're almost certainly going to be able to Astral Step your way out of most trouble, but yeah, a little bit greedy by Rajix.
He ends up getting caught out. You see where this Ember is in terms of net worth. He has 1,300 gold in front of this Queen of Pain, and now you take a look as the Primal War comes out onto Master Risk, but Mio makes the rotation, uses that Sonic Wave. The stolen Sonic Wave is thrown into oblivion. Okay, Master Risk, he'll end up dead. They look for Toby, they get the kill into Aramis, and now they'll lose the Beastmaster as well. That definitely could have turned very favorable for Viking GG had that stolen Sonic Wave been a little bit more aimed. But Mio comes over towards mid, blinks away, and they're trying to take this tier 1 tower. Solari and Boom looking over as Mio may look to defend.
Yeah, you gotta be super careful. This is maxed out Chakra Magic on the Coddle, and this is also a maxed out Sonic Sleight of Fist on the Ember Spirit, and so, yeah, you have to be very careful. If that Sonic Wave was cast into the Queen of Pain, she would probably not have gone to defend mid, but since Rubik was hoping to just finish off the Treant Protector, who was already dead, then ended up not being as intimidating, and
it's a pretty great steal for Rubik. I know it's nothing damage-wise, but this early on to have Blink to position yourself is certainly a great feeling for the Rubik.
Yeah, especially with 3 points in Telekinesis, they could definitely get an initial setup on the Queen of Pain, which gets rooted, but they don't want to dive underneath this tier 1.
They've got a lot of heroes migrating towards mid for the side of Team Family, but a smoke is used by Viking GG. They'll run into the Bloodseeker. They've got the Telekinesis as well as the Fade Bolt. They'll throw the Silence down, but the Primal Roar is there as well as the Shockwave coming in from this Satyr Creep, and Crystal is on the run. Will is committed, and they'll get this kill onto the Bloodseeker. It did cost them a little bit, but they'll end up getting a kill and potentially more as Master Risk shows up, thinking about throwing that Overgrowth out, but won't be able to do so. So another Shockwave is thrown the way of this Treant as well as the Queen of Pain, and Queen of Pain can only just watch as both those heroes fall.
Oh, Remnant,
I say Queen of Pain just runs away, but Mio now in trouble. Astral step forward, and will get the kill onto Aramis. And then Dissimilate getting the kill there onto this Rubik.
Yeah, good timing on Rajix. I'm pretty sure that Queen of Pain would have been dead to rights if he wasn't able to cause a little bit of chaos, but Rubik had to leave. Still, the Ember Spirit is reigning supreme, and he has nothing to be concerned about. He's just destroying Rajix here.
Yeah, Rajix shows up for a moment, and he regrets that decision pretty quickly. They were trying to control up Ember, and they were thinking about that Overgrowth again. Continuing to hold it, and now you've got Demonic Purge on cooldown as it was used on the Ember in that exchange.
Yeah, and Toby's just systematically mowing through these towers, took tier 1 top. Basically, without the Beastmaster, you can't really expect to take any of these towers. The Ember Spirit does not push nearly fast enough, and if you have literally 0 points in Illuminate, you also cannot clear the creep wave particularly effectively as the Coddle. So all of this build is just to enable the Ember Spirit as much as possible, as they're also making like tons of stacks for him in the jungle. This Ember Spirit is massive, and he's being way more prevalent on the map than this Queen of Pain is by a long shot.
Emberson at 5-0-1, the Queen of Pain at 1-2-2. Mio, at times when trying to make a rotation, has paid for it. Obviously, there was that fight over towards top where they got the kill onto the Rubik as well as the Beastmaster, but it certainly could have turned on its head had that Sonic Wave from the Rubik been on point. So it's a little bit of luck there, too, that's helped Mio be a part of 3 of the 5 kills.
Yeah, and his build is geared towards more teamfight oriented. He's going for the he completed the blade mail. He's going for a BKB second item. So this is not a pick-off oriented Queen of Pain, which normally would be kind of difficult for a Rubik or a Ricky or a Coddle to deal with. These are relatively squished heroes who are very susceptible to the burst. But I think she knows that her team's strength is in teamfights. You know, you rupture up the Ricky. He's not going to be able to blink strike everywhere. You get the silence off on the Ember Spirit. You should be able to keep Hinder under control during the span of an overgrowth into Aether Remnant. And so hopefully they start actually getting some team fights underway if they're going to be building this way. Because if they just keep trying to farm, they're not going to be able to outfarm this Ember Spirit, who's so high level. He's level 14 on this Ember Spirit right now.
And you compare that. Mio's not too far behind. He's only at level 13. The net worth is certainly a split, but the experience is not terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the? It's 4,000 experience though. Lead here for Viking GG with that 4,000 net worth lead.
Yeah, it's much more well distributed on the side of Radiant right now.
Yeah, that also comes from the fact that they were taking control of the outpost. They had both outposts at level at minute 10, which is such a big deal when your supports miss out on that.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So kind of grouping up towards bot now.
I've got the blink again here for the Rubik, so he does have that way to initiate. Blink forward from Mio on a Solari, but nothing more than just a little bit of a poke and prod onto the Coddle. Shad's got that Diffusal. He's going into the Manta. Ember looking now towards a Yules, as finally the Yules is finished for the Void Spirit, who is behind the Beastmaster by a little bit. He's finishing off a pipe. Do we expect a Blink Dagger here from the Beastmaster? I know that's not picked up as much anymore on Beast, but I saw it, I think, in one of the games of Na'Vi versus VP. Maybe it's making a return.
If he needed to be more of an initiator for his team, then I think he would, but I think the Ember Spirit's the primary initiator. If Ember manages to get a slight chains, then there's plenty of chain reaction that can come out of that. You can have Ricky Blink Strike into a smoke screen, you can have the Will-O-Wispy drop down, you can have Rubik Telekinesis. So the Beastmaster's more there as like a, okay, now the team fight's fully popped off, now let me just disable this Bloodseeker who's trying to run around everywhere.
Speaking of Bloodseeker, he's behind this this Ember as well. They're just, you know, a lot of their cores are under farm, but that's also compared to the Ember. I feel like that's not a fair comparison at the moment, as Boom has just had himself an amazing game on this Ember Spirit so far, as he's looking towards that Axe.
Something else. Wow, again the Outpost. Wow, yo, I've never seen a team so good at this. Yeah, this timing is impeccable from Viking GG. Because they're like, it's not even like they're, like, the movements were, they brought 2 heroes to take that one outpost with 3 seconds left. So it's like they had timed their journey. They were like, if we get into a fight, that's great. We have all of our ultimates. If not, we should be able to take this outpost. We have so much vision with our Beastmaster. And yeah, Viking GG is on point with these outposts.
Yeah, that is, again, now 4 outposts for nil in favor of Viking GG. Look over at the Shadow Demon, who disrupts himself. Yules comes in from Radix onto the Ember Spur. The Will-O-Wisp is down. They've got the sweep on 5 of these heroes. This is huge for Viking GG. Let's see if they can finish it off. They get the kill there on a Master Risk. They look over at Radix. They'll get themselves a second onto the Void Spirit. Crystal is now trying to run with Nikwa already on the high ground, and Mio with the Diffusal Blade on him, blinking towards the stairs, but not fully out of it just yet. He pops that Blade Mail. Fabled hits. They've got the stolen Aether Remnant to lock up the Bloodseeker, but it doesn't get them a kill.
Green, another timely DD rune, and Celery with this maxed out Chakra Magic is just juicing this Ember Spirit as much as possible. Boom. And again, like another amazing Will-O-Wisp setup, as you said. This Coddle is just enabling his team to deal so much damage, and yeah, the Queen of Pain's build is just not really scaring anyone. This Blade Mail is not really preventing anything. the Ricky's more than willing to go face first into it, which, I mean, Mio doesn't die, so I guess the armor itself is nice, just in keeping her alive, but it's not really dealing any damage. And
they're going to try and fight this. Yeah, Telekinesis comes through onto the Void Spirit, onto the back line, so is the Queen of Pain. Sleight of Fist, Searing chains this through as the Silence is placed on the stairs, so that kind of blocks Bloodseeker out of this one. And the Sonic Wave, that was not anything that they really need to be too scared about from Viking GG. Everybody's still alive as we look over at Master Risk, who gets taken out. He's gone for 34 seconds. The blink in from Mio, maybe not advised, because you're going to lose your life. And they will kill off the Queen of Pain 2-0 so far in favor of Viking GG, and they're still looking for more. Aether Remnant lands onto the Ember. They'll take Nikwa with them, and it ends up being 3-0 in favor of Viking GG.
Dude, this freaking Coddle Ember is just impossible for Dire to deal with. As it is, they're already struggling to keep him under control. Shadow Demon casts the Demonic Purge onto Boom, and his remnants are just moving around super slowly, but they can't deal damage to him. Bloodseeker is getting disabled by everything under the sun. He went for a Mantis the first time. I actually managed to find out Celery was on a warding mission. But yeah, so why would he go for Mantis first? Chains? Chains is like the only thing, and Blinding Light. Chains and Blinding Light are the only things I can think of that are worth dispelling. But then, like, why not just go for a BKB first item so you also don't have to deal with Telekinesis, you also don't have to deal with Smokescreen. Sure, you're going to get roared, but you're going to get roared no matter what. So at least maybe you can stay alive after the roar ends.
Telekinesis on Nikwa. They've got the Disruption. Rajix trying to set up the Aether Remnant, easily locked down, as well as the silence coming through from Chrysalis. But the Blink Strike forward from Shad. Now he's hit with that Rupture. However, we need to see something come out from the Dire side after they've already used this Rupture. The Primal Roar hits on a Chrysalis. They've also got the net out from that neutral creep. A stolen Aether Remnant and a Sleight of Fist coming in onto the Void Spirit. He's in a lot of trouble. The Will-O-Wisp placed down perfectly again. They get the kill on a Rajix. The Disruption from Nikwa will only extend the inevitable as they've got this Queen of Pain in the silence. They've also taken out Nikwa. They look over at Chrysalis, the last one alive, but the Aether Remnant from Aramis is perfect. They've got the root once more. Chrysalis is dead. It's a full team wipe in the favor of Viking GG, and they lose nothing for it.
Didn't even lose the Aegis. All of that Demonic Purge and Rupture would have just really just taken off that immortality from Ricky, but he survives through all of it, partly and due to the part with Toby's, Vlad's, and Pipe providing so much sustain for this Ricky. But yeah, this is pretty much past the point of no return. I don't really see, like, if this was CIS, then I'd be like, okay, it's still probably a 50-50 game because there's potential for the Radiant team to throw this, but Viking has been a little bit more consistent than most of the CIS teams that I've seen, and I don't see them letting off this aggression anytime soon. And I don't see any item pickups helping Family anytime soon. Like I said, even if they do manage to complete the BKB, at this point, there's so much damage, physical damage on Viking.
As they actually jumping in deep. Master Risk taken out. They got the Searing Chains out onto Radix, as well as the Primal Roar used onto the Shadow Team, and behind this Tier 2 tower. Now the Yules is out onto the Void Spirit. They've locked him down. They'll kill him off. They'll take out 3 once again, and this is just utter dismantling of Team Family.
I've never seen Rubik Remnant be so effective once stolen from Void Spirit, but they have the Yules set up technically from the Ember Spirit, because he has the Yules, and so he uses them. Aramis posts up the Aether Remnant, and they don't really have anything that can like intercept the Remnant, whereas Viking GG, they have the Beastmaster units, the Ricky's like big enough that he can just walk into it and not really be concerned about whoever is getting set up on. So yeah, this is rough. By the way, I don't know if you saw, but it's actually DK Phobos controlling your camera.
Yeah, I read that. Somebody put it together in chat, and I mean, I'm on it. I want DK Phobos.
Remnant pulls up the Ricky, still has Aegis for another 30 seconds.
But the Remnant comes in with the Telekinesis from Aramis. It seems like he's playing a better Void Spirit at this point, as now they've got the Primal Roar coming through into the Queen of Pain, as well as the Overgrowth from Master Risk, but the Will-O-Wisp is again placed on a multitude of heroes on the side of Team Family. They'll take out Mio. They've got the Aegis down, but still, Shad now on the run with the Rupture. Rajik's trying to get a kill here onto the Coddle as he sits low, but not dead just yet. Solari walking away from this one as Void Spirit's in trouble, getting healed up by Master Risk. They look over at Christos. They can't get the kill onto Shad. They've got the Searing Chains onto two of these heroes. They'll take out Rajix as well as Master Risk. 4 heroes gone again, and Viking just cannot be stopped. Rajik calls GG.
Yeah, that was brutal. Rubik, basically everyone on Viking GG played extremely well. I actually cannot think of anyone who single-handedly carried them the game.